I learned something 3 weeks ago that ripped the floor out from under me. Imagine spending years holding up a house you didn't even live in, only to discover you were never meant to be part of that home at all. My name is Mara, and this is the moment I realized my own family saw me as nothing more than a wallet with a pulse. For 8 long years, I carried my parents on my back like a second spine. Every bill, every prescription, every emergency, every repair, all of it quietly funneled through my paychecks. I work in cybersecurity for a mid-sized firm downtown, not rich, not broke, just enough to keep myself and my parents afloat. Meanwhile, my older brother Liam, well, calling him unemployed is generous. He collected failed business ideas the way some people collect sneakers. He lived in our parents' spare room, playing CEO of imaginary companies while contributing absolutely nothing. So when my mom asked me to go with her to our family lawyer, I didn't think twice. I thought it was paperwork. Routine. Boring, but the moment I stepped into Attorney Clark's office, everything inside me shifted. He slid a will across the desk, neat and crisp, the kind of document people draft when they're planning the future, except this future didn't include me. Both family homes, the one on Birch Lane and the rental on Rivercrest Drive, were left entirely to Liam. My name wasn't in the inheritance section at all. Not even a courtesy mention that I read the lines 3 times, my heart thudding like it was trying to punch its way out of my chest. There must be a mistake, I whispered. Attorney Clark looked at me over his glasses, sympathy in his eyes. I'm afraid there isn't, Mara. Your mother was extremely clear. I turned to Mom. She wouldn't even look at me. When she finally spoke, her voice was soft, almost rehearsed. Honey, Liam needs a place to live. He needs stability. You already have a life. You're independent. Independent as if independence meant I owed them everything. Forever. I stood up so fast my chair scraped the floor. What about the stability I've been giving you for 8 years? What about the thousands I've spent keeping this family running? What about that stability? She flinched. That's different, she said. That's just helping family. I walked out before I said something I couldn't take back. The drive home was a blur of betrayal and anger. Every errand I'd run for them, every bill I'd paid, every birthday I skipped because I was covering another emergency, all of it piled up inside me until it was choking me. That night, I sat at my kitchen table with receipts, bank statements, old emails. I calculated everything. 8 years, 2 houses, utilities, medications, groceries, repairs, insurance, $226,800. Money I worked for, money I thought was going toward family, money they used to protect Liam's future, not mine. Something in me hardened that night. That a line snapped clean in two. The next morning I woke up with a clarity I hadn't felt in my entire adult life. I made coffee, sat down, and started cutting cords. That I canceled their grocery deliveries, their utilities, their prescriptions, their lawn service, their house cleaner, their internet. That everything. By noon, every single monthly payment they relied on from me was gone. Then I drove to their house. Mom greeted me with a smile like nothing had happened. Mara, sweetheart, I made lunch. Want a sandwich? I pulled out a folder and set it on the counter. These are every payment I've made for this family in 8 years. All of it. She waved her hand nervously. You don't need to show me that. $226,800, I said, her face drained. Dad walked in, confused, then alarmed when he saw the papers. That I took a breath. As of today, I'm done. I'm not paying another bill. Not for this house. Not for the rental. Nothing. Mom's eyes filled with tears. But we can't afford. Then talk to Liam, I said. He's the one inheriting everything. They begged, they pleaded, but I was done. And yes, the guilt came, not from me, from everyone else. My aunt called, then my cousins, then the pastor from their church. Everyone had an opinion. Everyone said I was cruel. Not one person offered a single dollar to help them. Typical. 2 weeks later, Mrs. Alvarez, their neighbor, found me on my lunch break. She said she'd seen my dad asking around for yard work jobs, and Mom clipping coupons like it was a sport. Meanwhile, Liam was at the rental house ordering pizza and playing video games. Of course he was. A week after that, everything finally cracked. At 6:47 in the morning, my phone rang. That IT was Mom, sobbing so hard she could barely breathe. Mara, please, we need your help. There's something we didn't tell you about the Rivercrest house. There was a mortgage. A big one. My dad had taken a home equity loan 5 years ago after a surgery. The payments, $400 a month, they were 3 months behind. How were you paying before? I asked. Mom whispered, You were. You thought the property taxes went up. I didn't want to burden you. I sat up in bed, stunned. You lied to me. For years. Mara, please, the bank sent a notice. We have 30 days. I stared at the wall, the betrayal layered so thick I could barely think. So let me get this straight, I said. You want me to save a house that you're planning to give entirely to Liam? With my money? Again? She cried harder. It's half of everything we have. If we lose it, Liam will only have one house left. The irony almost made me laugh. Then I found out something even worse. They hadn't even told Liam the house was in foreclosure. That I called him myself. When I explained, he exploded. That's my inheritance. You have to fix this. No, I said, it's your inheritance. You fix it. I don't have that kind of money, he shouted. Then get a job. He scoffed. You know I'm not built for regular jobs. I'm an entrepreneur. I hung up. An hour later, Dad called offering me 20% of the inheritance if I bailed them out. 20%, after paying for everything, after being deceived, after keeping them afloat. That I almost laughed, and that's when I said it. Here's what's going to happen. Dad, you're going to tell Liam that if he wants those houses, both of them, then he needs to save them himself. Because I'm done being the silent investor in a future I'm not part of.